Well, as you know, we've been involved in the CELAC committee right from the beginning of the crisis back in March. We had a number of meetings through May. We had a couple of very long meetings in May where Unite put our position forward to government in terms of what we believed those measures should look like and made it clear in terms of what our key and important issues were on that. Now, obviously, it's an advisory committee, so the government will take on board the suggestions and the concepts that they see fit to take on board, but we have had that opportunity to influence the measures. Obviously, they've not come out quite as we expected, but obviously a number of the things that we have suggested have been adopted by government.
In Beat 2.0, the government payments have become grants, and these are paid on a sliding scale directly to the business rather than intended to be for the employees. Do you think it's right that the focus shifts from the employees to the employers?
Well, by association, it will protect the employees because obviously our members will now return to work from the 1st of July. Their contracts of employment will be reignited or resurrected, and therefore they'll be entitled to all their pay and conditions under their contract of employment. The payments to the employers is designed to actually enable the employer to meet their liabilities in relation to funding the wages of employees, but also for retaining jobs for those employees as well. Our concern is that the percentages are not as high as we think they should be in terms of being able to provide employers with sufficient support to maintain salaries and also maintain jobs as well.
Well, as from the 1st of July, businesses will be able to terminate contracts, even though there is a limit of 30% on those businesses that are receiving government grants. How much of a concern is that? Are you hearing any noises about significant redundancies?
Any employers that are drawing down government funding and thereby association taxpayers' money, there should be a complete prohibition on any terminations. We don't believe that it's right and proper that those employers can be drawing down that government funding and then making redundancies or terminating employment. We think the two should be linked in relation to job retention when they're drawing down those funds.
But if businesses can't survive, many haven't had much revenue over the past few months, there won't be any jobs for those employees to go back to.
But the difficulty you've got at the moment is that if employers are now able to actually start making redundancies, effectively you've actually got employers who are taking taxpayer money to actually fund redundancies, and we don't think that that's right and proper. We think that the funding available from government should be around job retention and also protecting incomes, and that will be to the benefit of our members and also Gibraltar as a whole. Our concern is that when the 1st of July comes about, where the prohibition on terminations arrives, that we are going to see a tsunami of job losses. We're already starting to get noises from members. Our concern is that employers don't understand how to actually conduct redundancy exercises properly. They don't understand their statutory obligations, so we believe that we're in for some difficult times in the next month or so.
For those businesses that can't actually afford redundancies, what happens then?
Well, again, we would say that actually they should try and hold their nerve and try and retain people in employment rather than go down the redundancy route, because obviously there is a cost to the organisation in doing that. Ultimately, if an employer is saying they can no longer continue to operate, then they will go insolvent, and obviously what will happen then is that those individuals will have claims to the government's insolvency fund to recover monies owed to them, including notice pay and also redundancy.
How vulnerable are those on 0-hour contracts?
Well, it's a major concern for us because under Beat 1.0, those on 0 hours contracts did actually have a protection where they had their average hours that were calculated and they were given a payment equivalent to that. The problem under this arrangement is that where the money's been given direct to the employer, that employer can simply lay off those individuals in 0 hours contracts, no longer offer them any hours, and so it means that those individuals are going to be in a very precarious position, and it does also once again highlight how those contracts are not fit for purpose and don't have any place within the employment market in Gibraltar.